The five themes that I got were futuristic, restorative, achiever, harmony, and context. So, futuristic, to explain in my own words, is someone who always looks forward to something. You're always going to look forward to the future because there's a bright future ahead of you. And you're looking forward to better things in life, and you always you have goals. You have goals in life, and um, to define as futuristic, and which is good to be futuristic and look towards, that something greater is yet to come. And which another way futuristic can be defined, which is good to never give up, because since you know that you're always looking to the future, it's a good way that you never give up, because you know something better is out there yet to come, whether tomorrow, whether it be or a while in the future. Then restorative could be when people want to make things better or come up with a plan that will solve things to change it and to restore what needs to be fixed, to make things better, and which is good to resolve things, to want things to be resolved. Achiever, in my own words, could be when because there's so many things a person would want to achieve in life, or on a day-to-day basis, whether how they see themselves each week or month or year, and they want to achieve something by a certain amount of time or even every day. An achiever, it's to accomplish something, whether it might be something small or something big, which also could be like goals also that people have for their life. Harmony, when you want things to be peaceful and you want everyone to be in harmony. You want everyone to agree. You want there to be tranquility and peace and happiness and everything to go well with people, for people to get along and be harmonious together. And context. Context is like history. Looking back so you won't make the same mistakes, so you can learn lessons. So you learn from history because you don't want to be doomed to repeat it. If people who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, and that's with context. And for the items that I chose, for first one, futuristic, I chose this. Is for futuristic, where we see an astronaut, or well, that's like a spaceship, and but here's a rocket launch, where like we see here in Florida, like in Cape Canaveral. And I chose this for futuristic because people, when they think futuristic, they think of astronauts. They think of also here, like the planets, like living on different planets, like the satellite. Like it also had to do with my introduction video that I made, that I said, if money weren't an option, or if it didn't matter, how much, if a person decided anywhere they could go, how I said the moon, because I know that would be expensive, but people, and for futuristic theme, people are always saying in the future they might, people might be living on the moon, and more people are going into space. So that's why I chose this for futuristic, and with the astronaut and with the rocket. For the next one, restorative. Restorative, when it says solve problems, I chose calculator. Calculator because restorative, because a calculator solves problems, math problems. If only life were as easy to solve problems with a calculator. If only it were easy, you know, that when something happened in life, when there was a problem and needed to be solved, if only it were as easy as getting a calculator and just typing up and it giving you the answer. That's why I chose calculator for restorative, because to solve problems, it's calculator. And then achiever, for achiever, I chose here this, for example, like a calendar. This is a calendar for achiever, because in a calendar you can write down, like say if you had an appointment, you write down on the calendar, or a bill that has to be paid, something that has to be paid, or a birthday party. And so a calendar, or something you want to achieve, or say if you wanted to write on your calendar, you wanted to go on a marathon or walk miles or exercise, or you're going to start something, you can achieve that by putting it on the calendar so you won't forget. This is a calendar, so I chose this. That's why I chose this for achiever, for a calendar. And harmony, for harmony, I chose these little hearts. It's a little heart here. And for harmony, because, and it's also February, and in 2 days it'll be Valentine's Day, so have the hearts, because chose this for harmony, because when you think of harmony, or like hearts, happiness, you know, just like how peace and tranquility, agreements, when like when you want there to be peace between people and for people to get along, and a little heart, and you know, when you're thinking of, you know, something good, something happy, and you think of like a little heart. So that's why I chose these little heart for harmony. Then for context, I chose, this is a photo album. Chose photo album, context, like history, photos, looking back. Because I like to look back at photos. Photos are history in pictures, and that's why I chose the photo album. Photo album for context, for I like looking back, looking at the past, looking at photos from the past and things, because photography, anything you take a photo of now, that's a memory, that's history in a photo. Just like how in history books, when we have photos in it, but I chose a photo album. And the themes that describe me the best, I would say, would be futuristic, harmony, and context. Futuristic because, like I said, I tell people, I always I try to have these goals. I try to look forward to the future. I want to accomplish so many things. I look to the future and say, I want this and that, like to graduate in the future, and I want to make, continue to make good grades in the future. That's how it describes me. And harmony describes me because I don't like conflict. I like everything to be peaceful, for people to get along. I always want people to get along. That's why it describes me for harmony, and then context describes me because I do also sometimes tend to dwell in the past, which is not always a good thing, to continue dwelling in the past when I need to dwell more on futuristic goals in life and think more of what I need to do instead of thinking of context and instead of thinking of what has happened and I can't change it. But things in the future, what you do in the present right now, you can change the future. And most frequently I do use futuristic, and like I said, harmony and context I usually use frequently in my life. Like I said, about how I'm always looking to the future, which is a good thing also because I don't want to give up. And I know the future, things can be better. Things can be better in the future, and what I do now will affect the future and what things happen. And I frequently use harmony because I try my best to, I want everyone to get along, but also sometimes the problem with harmony and that, sometimes I can be a pushover because, if some people will think that to keep everything under control, certain things have to happen or certain people have to do things just for things to be in harmony and tranquility and for people to get along, which because I don't want fights. I don't like fighting. I don't like conflict. That's why I usually use harmony. Context frequently describes me, and I frequently use because context, like I said, I'm always looking back, always looking, and which is not always a good thing to dwell on the past, to constantly think about, but this happened in the past, but this and that. Context but sometimes it's good. Sometimes you see like what happened. Sometimes you can learn from what happened in the past, what happened in history, and to try to not have it happen again. The themes that surprised me. It surprised me that I got futuristic and context, because it's like I got the future and also the past. But it also describes me, which is why it surprised me though that I got technically getting future and past. But the funny thing is that the first one, the number one, was futuristic towards the future, and the last one I got was context, like toward history, towards the past. That surprised me that I got those. And it surprised me because I thought it was funny, like I said, and about like future and past. But that's how I am, because I'll think of like, things can be better in the future, and I have goals, I look towards the future of what could be. But then sometimes, I think about the past or context or history, and sometimes, makes me sad of thinking how things could have been different in the past, or something could have changed, or why did this have to happen, and thinking towards the past. But when really all I can do really is work on the present, the now, and try to make a better future. And which themes I anticipate using most in college would be achiever, that I would like to use in college. Why? Because I want to achieve good grades, obviously. Obviously, everyone, wants good grades. Sometimes it can be difficult though when we're going through a lot, when things keep happening, or whether it be life problems, whether it be technological problems. But achiever, always trying to achieve good grades in college, always trying to study, always, and so hopefully you understand this video. Hopefully I didn't, I've tried to, well, I used my 5 different things that I showed, and I tried to answer everything for this school project, like I showed you so this for futuristic, which I'm showing you again, sorry, I'll try to be fast with it. For restorative was the calculator. For restore, achiever, the calendar for achiever. Harmony was the heart, a little heart, and which I described a while ago. And then context is the photo album. This is a photo album.